So it feels like almost every YouTuber in the world is giving their reaction to the debate, whether they watched it live or their afterthoughts. I guess I wanted to just kind of throw out a couple of things that went through my head. I didn't watch it live. I watched the clips, and then I watched the full thing a couple days after that. I will say one interesting thing is from the news that I had gotten, it was like, Joe Biden did the worst debate performance of all time. And I just saw that for a couple of days. And it wasn't until I actually watched the full thing where, I was expecting like a 1 out of 10. It was like a 3 out of 10, a 4 out of 10. The bigger problem for him is that, first of all, I bet you the vast majority of people, Americans or people around the world, did not watch the full debate. And then they only watched the 2 clips of him like messing up, or they only watched, unfortunately, he had a very, not the greatest facial reaction when Trump was talking. He would, they'd be in split screen and Biden would be on the other side, and he's just really and it's funny because they would cut to him and he's processing things, but just for some reason his thinking face did not do him any extra credit here. It didn't do him any justice. But I did see during the full debate, like he would look like he's completely out of it, but they'd cut back to him and his mic would turn on and he'd start going. So it was kind of a little bit funny, but he did not look good. I still agree that it was a really bad debate, but I've always enjoyed watching American presidential debates. I've watched pretty much, I feel like I've watched all of them, to be honest. Since like maybe 2008, I've watched almost every single debate. I just find them interesting. I really like debate memes too, which I think is what everyone is talking about, is the debate. I think they're just really funny. And there's always funny highlights that come from them and different moments. I think the biggest thing that people have taken from this is just like for instance, if you're someone that's not from the U.S. that is curious about a normal American's perspective, I think generally from my perspective, what I'm thinking and what my friends and family are thinking is just like, how long has this been going on? How long has Joe Biden been at this state? Like, that's insane. And you know what's funny is that we all kind of vaguely knew that he was really slowing down. I mean, I've seen countless juxtapositions, like edits of Trump and Biden's first debate in 2020 or first couple debates in 2020 versus now. Dang, it's crazy. Like, I expected it when you go back and watch like Joe Biden in 2012 when he is vice president and he's debating the other vice president. I forgot that guy's name momentarily. When he's still under the Obama administration, man, he's sharp. And just in general, like, he was a very sharp debater. But in 2022, he was shocking. I remember even at that time, a lot of people were like, is Joe Biden going to be able to keep up with Donald Trump? And I thought he did, personally, back in 2020. It is insane what has happened in just the span of 4 years. I mean, obviously, you're at that age where things can rapidly decline, and it just makes me feel bad. I think a lot of people just feel bad. Whether you're a Joe Biden supporter or not, it's just like, ooh, it's a little depressing just because, everyone kind of has family members that might be going through something similar. And it's also sad because there's other 81-year-olds that haven't deteriorated like that. I know they say Joe Biden he had a cold. And the other big spin was that the next day he gave this like speech, this rally where he looked like 100 times better. And it seemed like everyone was trying to, not everyone. It seemed like his team was trying to justify like, look, he's good, he's fine. What y'all talking about? He's not rapidly declining or anything. I don't know why that was the spin they chose to go for. Like, it doesn't really matter if one day he's at 100% and the next day he's at 20%. Like, that means that every day, I mean, I guess it's somewhat better than nothing. It's better than every day being him functioning at like 20% capacity. So it's like, okay, he has good days and bad days, but that still does not at all make it any better that he has very bad days, clearly. His stutter was there in like 2020, I remember, but it wasn't quite as bad. I mean, he like straight up loses loses track and he just doesn't even make any sense. And obviously, like I keep saying, we've been seeing hints of this for a while with some of the stuff that he's been saying, that a lot of, some of the speeches and talks and interviews that he's been giving are not really making a whole lot of sense. But it was crazy when the whole country was actually watching and to see him like make big old mistakes like that. Again, like I said, he didn't do horrible the whole time. It was just a few times that he did horrible, but it was kind of hard to keep up with some of the things that he was actually trying to say. And I think what makes this even crazier is that it's like, oh, it's not like Biden is a candidate running for president. This is the president. Like, he is at this state and he is currently running the country. Like, that's what made this so crazy. Like, completely disregard the election and the debate. It's like, oh, dang, this guy's clearly not actually been probably running the country, to be honest. I don't think that's new, I'll be honest. Historically, when you look at like presidents in the past, presidents basically not really controlling everything and people in their cabinet kind of controlling a lot of it. That's definitely been happening in the past, but it's just funny to see that while he's in office, very clearly like, oh yeah, like his team, his cabinet, his advisors, they're absolutely making, I mean, I don't know if I want to say the vast majority of decisions, but a lot of the real decisions probably are coming from them instead. I'm sure he steps in occasionally and, does what he thinks is best. But yeah, anyways, in terms of what is going to happen, well, actually, I do want to say like Trump, it just seemed like from his perspective, it's just the normal Trump stuff. Like, it doesn't really seem like anything new. Like I've said, I've been watching debates for a while from 2016 to 2020. He's kind of just hammering home the old stuff. I say, I don't see anyone else talking about this, but I say, and I am literally the only person that has made this claim, he seems like he's slowed down a little bit too. I mean, he's 78. Even because I look back at 2016 and those debates that he gave in the Republican primaries, it's like, oh, he was very quick. Not to say he's not quick now, and maybe it was the format of this debate that made him seem a little bit slower. He didn't seem that much slower. All I'm saying is he seemed like if he was at like an 8 out of 10 back in 2016 or 2020, he's at like a 7 or a 6. Like, it seems like he's a little bit slower, but I also don't know if it was just the format of the way both mics weren't on at the exact same time. But it felt like he lost a little bit of his own track, his own thinking during some of those questions. I just forget like how much political theater goes on during those debates. I mean, obviously it's like it's just entertainment. I mean, there's no real policy. They're both lying in certain aspects. I'm not saying they're always lying, but both sides. I saw like left-leaning publications break down some of Biden's lies, or he might have just made a mistake, and then obviously people breaking down Trump's lies. It's just political theater at this point, the debates. They're fun to watch. Of course, they're gonna fib, what they think, and they're gonna curve or turn stories how they want to, turn the narrative. That's super normal. I just really noticed it for the first time last night. I'm like, oh wow, this is really just not even a debate. It's just I reviewed a meme earlier, an ad hominem poop fest, basically. But anyways, in terms of what I think is gonna happen, I do not think that I actually want to. I'm going to make a prediction that they don't even replace him. I don't think they're going to actually replace Joe Biden. I don't think they're going to be able to, really. And I just don't know if they really have somebody else in mind. I think Joe Biden has another year or two. And the facts are that people would vote for a literal dead man walking over Trump. That's literally how divided the country is. And vice versa. People will vote for Trump if he's literally in jail. It does not matter. Like, it does not matter how negative both sides have. There's gonna be people voting. So I don't think they feel like they really need to. If Joe Biden doesn't want to step aside, even though there's a lot of people that are supportive of Joe Biden, even though they want to see Joe Biden win, they still want him to step aside now. That's part of the reason why my theory is that this might age like milk, but because maybe he will step down. But that's part of the reason why this was the earliest debate ever, in my opinion. We never have presidential debates in June, which is crazy. Before even the conventions, the Republican or Democratic conventions and the delegates and all that stuff. So like, I thought that my theory is they did this debate so early because they wanted to really see, okay, can Biden actually do this? Maybe he did just have one bad day, and maybe in the second debate, if they do a second debate in like October, he'll come back better. Who knows? But I don't think they're going to replace him. That's my guess, because I don't know who they replace him with, and it's a very complicated process. He would literally have to have like a medical emergency, I think, which is possible. Geez, anything is possible. And maybe he still definitely can win. It is going to be, I don't really know. The polls go all over the place. You can't even really trust the polls, but I feel like it's kind of a coin toss. He could definitely still win in November, and then I think he goes for like a year, and then boom, Kamala Harris takes over, because there's no way he makes it through the second term. No one thinks that. I don't think that. There's just no way. There's no way this guy has another 4 years, unless he's literally just like a functional like monarch. I'm thinking like the way the British have it, where they don't really do it. He's just kind of a representative, which, funny enough, that's kind of where the presidents have kind of become. A lot of their job is just representing the country. They do still obviously make decisions, executive decisions, but a lot of the times they're just kind of a representative. So maybe he just shows up to, D-Day, World War II memorials, and whatever else, G7 meetings, but he mostly just sits back at home and chills. I don't know, but anyways, those are just some of my thoughts. It's gonna be very interesting to see how things play out, because this is going to be a very interesting election, that's for sure.